So I think back in 1989 when I had this dream or vision to do the Breakthrough to Higher Power program, little did I know the impact it was going to have on millions of people around the world. In 1989, I was flying from Houston, Texas to Montreal on my way to do a presentation to a group of doctors. As I was doing that, as I do sometimes on a flight, I will sit and meditate on the flight and see if I get some inspiring ideas. And I had a Jack Bullen goal book in my lap, and as I get an idea, I'd write it in this little goal journal. As I did get an inspiration suddenly. In fact, 3 of them. And one of them came in and it said, the Breakthrough to Higher Power program, the VIP program. And I wrote that down and I got a tear in the eye. And you may know that in your life, when you get a tear in your eye, you know there's something meaningful to there, something that's authentic, something that you know that's important to follow on. And then inside it said, an idea whose time has come. Within the tiny acorn lies a mighty oak. And that's what came into my head. And I wrote it down on a Jack Bullen goal journal. It's still sitting in my office in Houston, Texas. And I decided I'm going to act on that. And I invited 12 people. And it literally said 12 people. It was limited to 12 people originally. And I invited 12 people to a program in my office in Houston, Texas. And this is back in 1989. And I did the first Breakthrough to Higher Power, the VIP program, for vision, inspiration, and purpose for very important people, for vitality, intensity, and power. That's what I labeled it as. Well, I did it again within a few weeks, and another 12 people came, and I started this program. Well, within a short period of time, after doing it 3 or 4 times, I noticed that people kept recalling it the Breakthrough experience, because it was a very experiential program. And so no matter what I said, the VIP program, Breakthrough to Higher Power program, they kept calling it the Breakthrough Experience because it was such an experience. So I changed the title to the Breakthrough Experience because everybody just kept calling it that. This experience they had. They had this real transformative experience. Well, when I was 17 and I met Paul C. Bragg at the Sunset Recreation Hall in Hawaii when I was literally just coming out of an almost death experience. And this gentleman spoke and inspired me one night. I thought, I want to do what this gentleman does. I want to be able to, he made such a huge difference in my life that night that my life changed. The trajectory changed. I wanted to do that. So when I got this information about the Breakthrough to Higher Power, and it got converted into the Breakthrough Experience, I felt I was starting to do what I wanted to do in the night I met Paul Bragg. He had such an impact on my life. My life changed and trajectory changed. From living in a tent and being a long-haired hippie surfer kid to now traveling all over the world and getting to be a teacher. Amazing shift occurred because of one man. I remember I was doing a presentation on TV one time, and I just come out with a book called You Can Have an Amazing Life in Just 60 Days. And this guy said to me on this host of this TV show, as I came out behind the curtain, came down and sat in this little couch thing. He said, now, Dr. Demartini, you don't really expect people to believe they can change their life in 60 days now, do you? Isn't that kind of a little unrealistic? Most people don't change their life. And he was somewhat of a skeptic. And I looked at him straight into his eyes and right above his eyes, and I started to have tears in my eyes. And I said, sir, it'd be impossible to convince me you can't change your life in 60 days. Sir, my life changed in 60 minutes, meeting one man, 1 hour, one night. So you won't be able to convince me it can't be done because I've done it. And I've watched thousands of other people do the same. So I started this Breakthrough to Higher Power program, which became the Breakthrough Experience back in '89. And now I've done it 1,184 times as of date and still doing them every week almost. And I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing. You know, if you ask people, what is it that inspires you? What is the most fulfilling moments in your life? Most likely, at least that's what I get from people, It's when they're doing something that's deeply meaningful that makes a difference in somebody else's life and it changes their life and they're saying thank you. Being of service. I really believe that's part of our nature. If you're not being of service to people, that don't expect the highest fulfillment in life. If you're a taker and not also a giver and you want to have a nice balance of that, you're not going to have fulfillment. If you're not doing something that's really inspiring to you, that makes a contribution, that means something to somebody. But when I did the breakthrough experience, it's something deeply meaningful because I've been a researcher since 1972. Once I learned how to read in 1972, 73. And I've been devouring everything I can get my hands on for over 5 decades, 31,000 books almost. And God knows how many journals and things. Anything that can help people master their life and maximize their human awareness and potential, I've been trying to devour. That's the most inspiring thing I get to do in my life, is to learn and share and disseminate that information. Anything that might help somebody master their life, that's like that guy did for me, that's what inspires me. So I've been basically standing on the shoulders of giants, studying the greatest teachings. I remember my mom said to me when I was about to turn 19, she said, "Son, what do you want for your birthday?" I was born on Thanksgiving Day. I said, "I want the greatest teachings on the face of the earth by the greatest writers, greatest minds who ever lived from around the world." And she said, "You sure you don't want a T-shirt?" And I said, "No, Mom, I want to stand on the shoulders of giants. I want great knowledge." So I want to be wise. I didn't want to be an idiot like I was told I was going to be as a child. So I wanted to be somebody that had knowledge. And my mom called her brother, which is my Uncle Ralph, and he sent two giant 6 by 6 by 6 foot wooden crates to our house, filled with just thousands of books on every imaginable field. And man, I was in heaven. This is better than dying in the afterlife. This is amazing. So I sat and started devouring. I was reading 20 hours a day in some cases, reading and reading and reading anything from the greatest minds, anything in the greatest fields, anything that would allow me to get some insight on how to maximize human awareness potential, help me master my life. I was watching a TV show called Kung Fu, and David Carradine was this martial artist that had this Shaolin master that had taught him and trained him. It was his master. And I thought in that day, I said, I want to master my life like this guy. And I set out and I defined the mastery as the one who's basically one who's mastered their mind and be able to create original creative ideas and ingenious ideas and wake up their genius and contribute to the planet something that serves. I wanted to create a global business that made a difference and served people, that would leave some sort of mark in the world. I want to have financial independence and be able to work because I love to, not because I had to. I want to have a global family dynamic, which is one of the reasons I live on a ship called the World that goes around the world. I want to go and hang out with movers and shakers, which I've met over 9,000 of these people now. And I wanted to go out and do something amazing with my physical and be an enigma and physically and be youthful even at a riper age. And I'm almost 69 now. And I also wanted to go and do something that inspired people, because I believe people deserve to have an inspired life. That was to me, mastery. But everybody has a different idea of what mastery is. You have a different idea. You're maybe raising a beautiful family, or maybe a spiritual cause, or maybe being a great Olympic medalist. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's meaningful to you. I wanted to help people do that. And what's inspiring to me is watching people do it. So when I teach the breakthrough experience, which has evolved now all these thousands of times, or 1,180 times, I get to now watch lives change. I get to people do it. I teach them how to identify what they value most and how to live intrinsically and how to be spontaneously inspired and how to delegate lower priority things so they're not trapped weighing themselves down in self-depreciated and self-distracting systems. I want to show them how to take command of their life and be a master of their destiny, not some victim of history. I want to show them how to dissolve all the emotional baggage that's stored in the subconscious mind with my Demartini method, which I've been working on for 50 freaking years, and polishing it and working it. I've got a science that's amazing on how to dissolve baggage, stuff that we're judging in ourselves and other people. I just did a program this week and I asked people how many now, after you've done the method, have other baggage that you now know what to do with. All the hands go up. The tool is a gold mine for transforming people's lives. And that's what my dream was. What this gentleman did for me, I'm now doing for other people, and it's absolutely inspiring. I can't think of anything else. I was speaking and doing the breakthrough experience in Honolulu at the Hyatt right there by Waikiki. And it was in the afternoon on the second day on Sunday. And amazingly, there was a lady that came in the back. She was about 4'7". She came in the back, and at the break, this lady approached me. This lady was Patricia Bragg, the daughter of the guy that inspired me. And she came up to me and she reached up and grabbed my hands and she says, "You inspired me." And I said, "Thank you." And she says, "You remind me of my father." Wow. Wow. I gave her a big hug and we held each other. And then we went to lunch the next time. And what an inspiration to see somebody many, many years later, the very daughter of the individual that inspired your life. But I was able to give back to her and back to, he passed away. But when I do the breakthrough experience, it's a heart opening experience. It's it's a transformative weekend. That's all I can say. It's 25 hours of dedication to helping people break through whatever they see in the way so they see life on the way, not in the way. You know, I take people, there's people of all different walks there that come in for different reasons there. Some are sitting there and they're having problems with their mental capacities. They're having learning problems or retention problems, or maybe they're trying to go and get a high advanced degree and they're having difficulties. I show them how to help them with that. Or maybe they're in business and they're not able to grow their business. They're stagnant and they're not clear on their mission or their vision, or they're not knowing how to prioritize or delegate or hire or whatever. I explain to them how to master that and maximize that. Or maybe they're going in there and they're trying to go do something and build wealth. And no matter what they do, they can't seem to get ahead financially. And I show them how to basically transform their value structure in such a way where they can now receive money and make money and actually build some wealth in their life for the first time. Or maybe they have relationships that are on the blink, or maybe they're wanting to divorce. I show them how to dissolve the angers, resentments, and all the baggage that they have in relationships so they can love their life again and love the people they're with. Or maybe they're social, they're afraid, they're intimidated, and they're afraid of speaking up and speaking out. And they're basically subordinating to people. One of the biggest things that stops people from doing extraordinary things is a comparison of themselves to other people and putting people on pedestals or pits instead of putting them in the heart. I teach you how to dissolve that and get into the heart and communicate and have reflective awareness so you can have true intimate relationships and love. And I'm showing you also how to have vitality, because when you're living by your highest value and you're inspired by your life, your physiology rallies and even illness is transformed, because illness is a feedback inside your body to try to get you to be authentic. So if you want to be authentic, come to the breakthrough experience. It's amazing. I'm going to show you how to actually have an authentic moment. And I ask people, now you're certain about this moment. This is a moment of tears of grace, and you know that this is you. And they go, wow, this is where the power is. The facades and the imposters that you play are not where the power is. So I basically show people how to do that. And it's inspiring. And so I think back in 1989 when I had this dream or vision to do the Breakthrough to Higher Power program. Little did I know the impact it was going to have on millions of people around the world. And now I have facilitators that are trained in the Demartini method as a result of that program. And they're out spreading the message and taking the tools and going out and doing extraordinary with their life. So I'm very inspired by what happened in 1989. That one moment that I followed that was an inspiration, that had a tear, has led to now a movement across the world because of this breakthrough experience. A book has come out on it. There's a movie that's coming out on it. It's just touched thousands and thousands of lives. So I'm pretty inspired by that. The breakthrough experience is my life's work, summarized in a 2-day experience. It's a culmination of all the 50 years of research plus. And I know that it's what I love doing. It's what there's no way you can go through that experience without having a shift in your trajectory in life. No way. I ask people, how many of you at the end of the program, how many of you have had learned something this weekend you couldn't have learned if you'd have been anywhere else? There's no way they could have gotten this information. Instead, why reinvent the wheel? Why not stand on the shoulders of giants? Why not take advantage of it? I stood on the shoulders of giants, Sir Isaac Newton in Principia. I took Einstein's, where I've taken all the great minds and all the great philosophers and Nobel Prize winners, and I've summarized and synthesized it. The great psychologists, the great theologians, the great philosophers, the great inventors, the great minds of business and in finance. I've summarized it. It's silly not to stand on those shoulders and take advantage of it and start to have to reinvent the wheel. Why learn by trial and error when you can stand on the shoulders of giants and go forward? I assure you that the information in this program is life-changing. And I just can't wait to share it with people. That's why I do it every week. Literally 1,184 times. That right as of date. So there's no way you can do that. I mean, people say, well, how many hours is that? Well, it's 25. You calculate the hours. It's 25, 26 hours times that many times. It's over 30,000 delivered hours. I presented this program to over 100,000 people, plus all the secondary people helping me with it. So if you would like to be one of those individuals that go and transform, just like when Paul Bragg met me when I was 18 and my life changed, I want to do the same for you. I want to be able to bring that same information and shatter any myths that you might be running your life. And Paul Dirac said, the Nobel Prize winner said, it's not that we don't know so much, we know so much that isn't so. I'd like to build you a foundation of knowledge that will stand the test of time so you can give your eyes to your legacy that you want to leave in life. We all want to make a difference. You deserve to make a difference. That's why I want you to come and join me at the Breakthrough Experience, because the Breakthrough Experience is amazing. It's a family. Every time we do it, I have people come on and says, "I'm so glad I'm back here. This is where I feel I'm most authentic. I can be loved for who I am." If you want to be loved for who you are, come to the Breakthrough Experience. If you want to go out and know how to express your love and do what you love in life, come to the Breakthrough Experience. It's amazing. So I just wanted to share a little presentation about the Breakthrough Experience this time. I do webinars every week to help my students do something amazing, but it's almost insane not to go and do a presentation on the very thing that I do every week. So that's why I'm doing this now. I just want you to know that it's there for you so you can make a transformation in your life. If you want to be able to love yourself and look in the mirror and say, yes, I have a little song out there called John's Song. You can probably find it online. And I basically ask people to stand in front of the mirror, maybe in their nude position, and say, are you able to say, I love you just the way you are? I want you to come to the Breakthrough Experience so you can love your life again and so be inspired by what the contribution you make. And because it's inspiring. And that one day in 1989, I did not know what that was going to lead to, but I'm so grateful I followed and pursued what was inspiring to me in that moment. I want you to do the same. I want you to follow your tears of inspiration and live an authentic life and do something extraordinary and make a difference in your life. So I just wanted to talk about the Breakthrough Experience because it's changed my life and changed the lives of thousands of others. And I know it can change the life of you. I know that you can go out and do something extraordinary in life. So let me help you do that. It's my life's work, and I look forward to sharing it with you. So thank you for being with me today. I'll see you on the next presentation, and please join me at the Breakthrough Experience. That way I can take my life's work and hand it on to you, and you can take it and run with it and go do something extraordinary with your life. I love you. Thank you for so being with me today.